it's a clue. But the intro is too long. Maybe we'll play it at the end. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, here it comes, I think.
That was a lot of work.
That was a lot of work, but not by me. I like the music too, Sandy. Another Quinn Del Val piece. I'm going to play it at the end too. It's it's Quinn's take on "Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone." Perhaps that's a little
Bleak.
No, it's a little what's the word I'm looking for? Like self-important to assume that the sun will go away for you for the next 2 weeks. But
Oh, it will.
I'm here for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then right after this, just like the Von Trapp family after they sing, I'm leaving for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. But we're gonna live stream through it, so never fear. We'll be here. It'll just look a little bit different. But I love that piece. I feel like the music's been a little bit lately. And I think actually, why not have a little joy, a little fun?
Especially on a Monday.
On a Monday, the last day of August. Holy buckets. You know, we've all been home for months and months and months, and suddenly it's September. It's amazing. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well too, thanks. So we're talking today about something that is, well, I think a lot of people don't talk about these kinds of things. Not only do people not necessarily talk about it in their coupleness, but they certainly don't talk about it in public. But we're going to, because for heaven's sakes, what haven't we talked about in public? There's not that much you don't know about us at this point. But let me just give you a little backstory. Let me clue you in first. We're talking about money. Money, money, money. Oh, I should have played the ABBA song.
Yeah.
Oh, too little, too late.
Yeah.
Anyway, I bought this house in 2006 by myself. I have a long history of needing to do things by myself. Why, Mezzy?
Because no one's the boss of you.
Because I can't be bossed. Anyway, I bought this house in 2006. Quinn and I moved in. We acquired Lily that Christmas. You were in our lives, but you stayed in your apartment. And then you and I got married in 2008 and remortgaged the house together, refinanced the house together. So then we refinanced again when we did sidings and windows. So technically, our current 15-year lease goes through 2026. And we don't live in a huge house. We didn't have a $400,000 mortgage, but it was a big mortgage for us. And now, if my mother's watching, I hope she's sitting. I became fixated on paying this house off early. And any second, my mother's gonna type in, this is the girl who pretty routinely bounced checks in college and said she couldn't be bothered to keep track of how much money she did or didn't have in her checking account. That's 100% true. I'm a better, different person today, Mother. So anyway, I read an article early on that said if you can make one extra house payment a year and you can do it over the months, that can take 6 or 7 years off your mortgage. Okay, so I started putting an extra amount of money every month that just came out to go towards the principal. I did that years ago. And then Maz got sober. And then we started to have a little bit more money because we were making more money. He wasn't spending it on alcohol. Lots of things happened.
And we both got promotions too. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We were making more money. Quinn got through college, so we didn't have any of that expense. Just life improved in lots and lots of ways. So guess what? We are 2 house payments away from having our house paid off.
Oh, yes.
And you'd think I was an accountant and an actuary and any math thing that you can imagine with the excitement that I have about this.
It is fun.
It's incredibly fun. We'll have this house paid off by the middle of October.
Way before your birthday.
Yes. So, the reason we're talking about this is because when Maz was drinking, I would bring up money conversations with him. I would say, you know, if we put a little bit more towards the house, or if we paid this thing off, or if we saved this way, whatever I was reading, I would bring to him, and it always became a fight. Always, always, always. And I didn't exactly understand it. And, you know, as with so many things, I thought I was coming to him very non-judgmentally, very open-ended, very, this is just a conversation. And I'm sure that I wasn't. Because if you know anything about me, you know that I rarely don't have an agenda. And I almost always think my idea is the best idea. So let's just get on board and go.
Yeah.
I know. You're learning new things about
You
me,
are
Mezzy.
unfolding like a flower in the sunshine. I love it.
Anyway, it always turned into a fight. So I started moving money secretly.
Yeah, which is a desperate situation to be in when you're married to someone anyway. But we'll come back to that one.
And I started putting more money towards the house, and I started paying off the credit card more aggressively. I mean, we never had big credit card bills, but I just started to be pretty carefully aggressive, knowing that Maz really wasn't paying attention, and that as long as I kept everything going, could pay all the bills and all of that, then it was okay. Good morning, John and Leticia. So, now you're sober, and we have put a boatload of money towards the house this year. I'm going to tell you how much we've put towards the house this year. Almost $40,000 of extra money. I mean, we have just dumped everything into the house, and it's been incredible.
It has, and we haven't. You know, some of it is probably the fact that we can't go anywhere and there's no restaurants.
It's a huge piece of it. You know,
But
we didn't get to go to Ireland. We didn't go to Japan. We didn't go to Washington, D.C.
yeah.
I didn't go to Paris. We had a lot of big trips planned.
So that was easy. But there is, when you look up how much money you spend on alcohol when you're an alcoholic, and at the time you don't think it, and I'm not making an excuse. It was why I kept saying no. I don't know. We talked about this morning. I can't tell you honestly if it's because.
Oh, you have to explain just a little bit. I asked him if he thought that the reason that we always fought about alcohol was because he was worried that if I put all of our extra money towards the house, there wouldn't be money for alcohol.
Yeah.
That was the precipice of this question.
See, and I don't know if that's 100% true, or I just panicked when money came up, or I just felt like then, when you suffer from addiction, you kind of get fixated on trying to be as normal as possible. Mm-hmm. And then that shift to doing something different, I think it terrified me. I really don't have a clear answer. And you do end up spending a lot of money on your addiction. I mean, you think about it, with all those $29.99 charges and the $40 cash out of the ATM, that adds up. And in hindsight, it was a terribly, aggressively selfish thing to do, but I didn't think that at the time. And we were also lucky because what you did behind the scenes, I mean, I mentioned this when we all wrote our side of the story. I know you did that. Now, it was amazing. But
I'm a money whiz. Who knew?
But it's just, I know people who, they got evicted, they lost their house completely because, they had the water cut off and everything, and that never happened to us.
Well, it never happened to us because one of us was sober and paying attention. Yeah. If you had been in charge, it's hard to know what would have happened because you were so disengaged from the conversation and from the activity that I don't think you would have even known, well, when does the mortgage come out, and when does the city withdraw the utility bill and all of that stuff. And so let me say that the point of this conversation is not to say to you, hey, we're in an amazing place. It really isn't. What it's to say is another thing about the shift that can come.
Yeah.
Because today, for 3 years, we've had deep money conversations. We didn't just Like, I didn't just decide that we were going to put all this money towards the house this year. We decided to put money towards the
Remember
house.
the first thing I did when we got sober was you and I sat down and we probably had the first real money conversation, or what I could actually just think.
Yes.
And one of the first things we did was I bought this little Ford Fiesta, so it was only $300 a month. We sat down and thought, hey, I got a 3-year loan for a thing that we can pay this off in 2 months, and we did.
Yeah.
And then we just put that same $300 in the savings,
Yes.
and the rest you could say is history, because it just
Yeah, the
build up.
savings is what has allowed us to put so much money towards the house. And I was saving all along. But you know what? I'll say this. As I was saving, often in the back of my mind, I was saving thinking, well, if and when I leave this relationship, I have to have some money either to buy Maz out of the house or to get Quinn and me into an apartment, or, I mean, there was all of this.
it is an extra stress. I mean,
Oh my gosh, so
and
stressful.
I did not realize this was going on, and that's just a terrible situation I've put you in. But when you do get sober, this is the sort of stuff that you can think back when hindsight, and it's things that you don't really think about. Yes, we were lucky we never lost a house or anything, but many people do. And yes, we were never really in trouble, but it could have easily gone further. And again, I'm also lucky that I was just an alcoholic. I was never an addict alcoholic or an alcoholic addict.
And you drank junky alcohol.
And I didn't drink expensive alcohol, and I wasn't a gambler.
Yeah.
So, it could have been a lot worse. Ultimately, it really could have, but thankfully it wasn't, and thankfully it's we've come through it on the other side, and it is possible to do that. I used to, because of the lockdown. But when I go to my Saturday morning groups, there's probably about 240 men. It's Saturday's a men-only group. We're just brutally honest, and 240 men that haven't been in that same situation.
Yeah.
And it makes it weirdly, when you go to those meetings, it makes you feel. It doesn't make you feel, oh, that's okay if you did too. It kind of makes you feel kind of happy, because everyone did it, and it's a symptom for a disease, and they have shared experience of how they turn their lives around. So it just helps to, again, know you're not alone, and to really appreciate what you have now.
So just to wrap up, hi Adele, hi Randy, hi Mother, where have you been? I've referenced you 62 times in this 15 minutes. For heaven's sakes, you have a lot of catching up to do.
There'll be a lot of
anyway,
text today.
So many texts. Anyway, we're not telling you this to boast, although I am incredibly proud of us. When I think about my income-based Dana Del Val self paying a house off at 47 that she didn't buy till she was 33, I'm very proud of myself, and I'm very proud of us.
Yes.
But the point is, you can be proud of you too. This is a shift that's doable. It might not be doable in the moment. Maz didn't get sober in the next month we paid the house off. It's still taken 3.5 years of dedicated, steady work.
But it was 3.5 years of we haven't fought over money.
Yeah, collaborative work, cooperative work, investment together. Together. We now make financial decisions together. And I'm not saving money thinking, boy, this will get me out if things go bad. I'm saving money because guess what? When this house is paid off, nobody's seen anything yet. We are going to go to town when we can, safely.
Sensibly. Obviously.
Yes. So, I'm going back to Ain't No Sunshine When She's Gone, because that's about how I feel festive-wise. And it's time. Have a great day.
Have a great day.
Try to have an honest conversation about money. You'll be amazed.
But bottom line is quick, that there is hope.
Yeah.
There is hope for everyone out there.
You can do it. We've done it. You can too. Bye.
See you later. Sounds like Chip and Dale, really. Quinn doesn't ever hear me say that.
See you later. Have a super day.